exploiting myself on the internet by talking even more about sex, because as you guys know, I do this thing on my channel called the TMI series, which I've been doing not consistently at all for the past 2 years, almost, year and a half I feel like. I started making these videos, basically just talking about the things that are very hard to talk about, because I feel like, you guessed it, they should be talked about, so here I am, once again. So a little backstory on why I was inspired to make this particular video, which is just even more in-depth talking about my opinions and, you know, arguably the truth about sex. So about 2 days ago, in this very apartment where you are seeing right now, we're just casually talking about things that girls talk about, you know. I've actually recently come to the conclusion that girls probably talk about more gross things than guys do in some instances. So we were talking about, you know, sex, because I feel like that just oftentimes comes up in regular, normal girl conversations. Sorry about it. Not really. And one of my good friends is like, you know guys, sex is really weird when you think about it. I don't think I've ever agreed with the statement more. Sex is a very weird concept if you think about the whole, I don't know, physics of it and what it feels like and just stuff like that. It's very weird, I think. And it's kind of annoying that something so weird is so hard for us to talk about and so hard for us to think about and really like drives us crazy. This whole kind of scratching an itch concept, you know, drives us absolutely mad. And don't get me wrong, I think Sex for Love is a beautiful, beautiful institution. I have yet to have it. Yeah, I said it. I have yet to experience that. And please spare your pity and your pity comments and everything that is going to spew from what I just said, because pity is the opposite of what I feel for myself about that. I honestly feel like instead of wasting energy pitying myself over that, I consider the positives. A, I've had fun, and B, I know that it's coming and it's gonna be great once it comes. Some of you guys are thinking, whore, but that's not what I'm thinking at all. And in my humble opinion, what I think of myself is more important than what any of you guys think of me. Just a personal thing. Sex is weird, and it's time that we talk about it more freely. I think people would avoid a lot of confusion, fear, pain, etc. if they were more educated about sex. So I'm here today to take a crack at some of those unspoken things that should be spoken about, etc. When I lost my virginity, I thought of it as a big deal because it was a big deal, and I also at the same time was kind of disappointed. You know, I thought that it was going to be way more, you know, special. Like I said, I've never had sex out of love, because I just genuinely have not loved anyone yet, and I'm not even gonna lie and say I have, you know, oh, I really liked him, so I must have loved him. No, I know that when I love someone, it's gonna hit me like a double-wide tractor trailer, and I'm gonna feel it like into my very core, and I can confidently say I've never been in love. So when I lost my virginity, I was almost like, damn it, like, not to say that I regret it, because I don't really honestly regret anything in my life, because I feel like I'm in such a good place right now that I just can't imagine my life being any different. And so I think that in order to have what I have now, I had to go through shit, and I had to experience things like losing my virginity and being like, For a very long time, guys, like for probably a little over 6 months or so after that, I didn't even touch another boy because I was so, I don't even know the feeling. I don't think that the feeling that I felt could be summed up in a word. For a while, I beat myself up over it. I was like, how could you, how dare you lose your virginity, do that like so carelessly and not think about it. Virginity is a concept that I think you can create yourself. People are gonna disagree with this. I respect anyone who has an opinion on this that isn't mine. I fully respect you and your opinion. You know, those long 6 months or so after I had sex for the first time, I really thought about this like very long and hard, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like a used napkin. Then I realized that it is purely all in your head, I think. You know, you can decide tomorrow that you want to be a pure blank canvas and, you know, go on with your life and start a new page, start a new chapter. Like, don't think that you are useless and, you know, whatever because you've lost your virginity and you feel like no one will love you. And you know, I've come to the conclusion that if I am with someone, dating someone, going to marry someone who doesn't understand where I was coming from when I lost my virginity at age 18, like to that person, whatever, like if they don't understand and like accept that that happened to me and like not really give a fuck about it, then they're not the person for me, honestly. I've said this time and time again, I feel like a broken record, but you decide how you react to things. Like, it's purely you. You and your brain and your heart and your soul, you all kind of come together in one being, and I'm like, okay, this happened and this is how I'm going to act moving forward. And it's probably the healthiest, best decision you can make for yourself to let go of whatever is plaguing your soul and your heart and whatever is slowing you down. And if losing your virginity is that thing, then, you know, you have the power to be like, You know, it's okay. It happened. It's in the past, you know? And I'm not going to say everything happens for a reason. And if you want to know why I'm not going to say that, you can check out my blog post that I just made on the whole subject of that. I'm not even going to bore you with the details because it is all in my blog post. I will put that down below. Yes, I have a blog. Yes, I write. Check it out. That's old news. So that was kind of the first chapter of this video. So like, if you've lost your virginity, now what sort of thing. Chapter 2 in The Truth About Sex. If you've never had sex before or you haven't lost your virginity and you're freaking out over it, I made a video about kissing, which is similar to this, basically saying like, it's okay if you've never been kissed before, because that was my biggest fucking worry as a child was, when am I going to lose my kissing virginity? And then I graduated to worrying about, when am I going to lose my actual virginity? I think that sex is a very misunderstood concept that people are so uneducated about. Even myself, I feel like I'm very uneducated. Like, honestly, if you had to ask me the parts of like the vagina and things like that, I would probably struggle and have to pull up Google or Urban Dictionary or things like that. I have the Urban Dictionary app on my phone. I learned what A69 was way too late in the game, I feel like, and I just thought it was a number for a very long time. Anyway, segue into if you've never had sex before. Okay, we've been taught our whole lives to, you know, work our way up to achieving things. A, to get to that point as fast as possible. Don't take 5 years to graduate high school, graduate in 4 years. Like, if you graduate in 5 years, there's something wrong with you, sort of mentality. We have been taught from a very young age to get from one point, point A, to point B in the smallest amount of time possible, you know, the most efficiently, and to just get there, basically. Do whatever you can to get from point A to point B. You know, take the SAT, get to college. We have this set timeline of when and how we're supposed to do things, and the chronological order, etc. So that's why when people mess up the order, so to speak, you know, have a baby before they get married, people freak out, you know, because it doesn't follow the plan that we've been taught we're supposed to follow since we were like 5, you know? We can't help it. You know, we've been raised this way to really want to succeed in every element of our lives. Most of us are constantly moving forward and moving up. You know, I just turned 21, all of these things are happening, all these milestones, I'm moving on with my life. You know, all of my bars are kind of going like this in my life. And when one of them, the sex bar, isn't going up, we're like, fuck, we need to be constant. We need to be up to par with everyone else and what we're supposed to be doing. And people think that there's this set age that they're supposed to lose their virginity, and that's like their next milestone. You know, and like they have to do that before they can get somewhere else. And it's a milestone. It's another thing that they have to check off their list, you know, in order to get to the next thing. Which is fair. That's how we've been taught in our lives. You know, you get your driver's license, then you can drive your friends, then you can drive to college, then you can graduate college. It's like a building block, you know? And people think that sex is just one of those verbs on the building block tower fucking thing that's just eventually gonna be pushed over when you die. It was really blunt. It was very blunt. Very morbid as well. It's not one of those things that we should just be, you know, racing to get completed. It's not something that if you haven't done it, you're like, I don't know, something's wrong with you. That's absolutely not the case at all. Like, if you want to do it, do it. You'll be damned if you do, you'll be damned if you don't. This is a very hard subject for me to talk about because I can already anticipate the comments from people, you know, judging me on what I'm saying. But like I just said like 30 seconds ago, you'll be damned if you do, you'll be damned if you don't. So you might as well just do whatever the heck you want to do because you'll be judged for it anyway, either by society or your friends or your parents. We can dwell all we want and just talk about how shitty things are and how we wish that culture was different and there was more chivalry and guys took us on dates before going the extra mile and, you know, hitting a home run. Humanity is a very resilient culture. I promise you someday that we're all gonna find the person we're supposed to be with. LOL at me getting off topic once again, but that's really how I feel. Anyway, sex is a weird, kind of gross, sweaty thing that we do as humans to scratch that itch that we're feeling as humans. I think, personally, that we need to talk about it more. People have this deathly fear of being wrong, you know, either morally or in the eyes of other people, and being judged for things they say. For a while, I wasn't very educated on the physics and, no, not physics, what is it? Anatomy of my own self, and I was doing it all wrong, so to speak. It just didn't feel right. And I had absolutely no idea until one day my friend was like, Katie, use lube. It's a craving like many other that we feel normally. You know, those pains when we're hungry sort of thing. It's like a natural thing that occurs, and it's a natural thing in life. Every animal has sex, think about it. I just think it's better that we talk about it, and that you know that if you've never done it, it's okay. If you have done it, excessively, that's alright too, honestly. It's really fine either way. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Bye.